Alright, there's another video for 3HT about exercise 33 and 34 from chapter 7. It's about trigonometry, so the cosine, the tangent and the sine. First let's take a look at the exercise 33. It says the figure shows the front elevation of a house. The dimensions are given in meters. How high is the roof ridge above the ground, round to the nearest decimeter? Okay, so in the picture we can see that the height of the roof is there. So we want to know how big is the length from here all the way to the ground. We know that this is 57 degrees, we know that's 6.5, and we know that that length is 2.8. So what we're going to calculate is this length, which I draw now, right? Because then we have a triangle here, and if you know what that length is, you can add 2.8 to it, and then you know the total height of the house. So we know this length, which is the hypotenuse of that triangle, and we want to calculate the opposite side of this angle. So that means that we have to use the sine, right? Because the sine uses the opposite side and the hypotenuse. So I'm going to write down sin 57 equals the opposite side we don't know, the hypotenuse we do know. So this is what we have. And if you want to calculate the question mark then in this case you have to do times. So times the sine of 57. The answer for that is 5.5 rounded off to 1 decimal place. And we need to round it off to 1 decimal place because then we have decimeters. Then we have to do 5.5 plus 2.8, and when you add that, then you will get 8.3 meters, which is the answer, also rounded off to decimeters. If you want, you can say it's 83 decimeter, but this is the same. Alright? Then we're going to go to exercise 34. Now 34, there's one thing a bit confusing about it, that it says a B in front of it, like this exercise is meant for Maths B. But actually this whole chapter is meant for Maths B, because in Maths A there is no geometry. Geometry is calculating lengths and angles and all of that. That's not part of Maths A at all. But I do have to say that some of the exercises, well, maybe not this one, but some of the earlier exercises, they were a bit easy for Maths B standard. So this is more, if you can do this, then well, you might consider doing Maths B. Here we have calculate AB, AD, and also CD. And we know that this angle is 28 degrees, and we know that that side is 5. The difficult thing about this exercise is that there is more triangles in one. We have triangle ABC, we have triangle ABD, and we have triangle ADC. But with some of the triangles we don't have enough information. For example, if you take a look at triangle ADC, we only know one length and we don't know any angles. So like it is now, we can't calculate anything in that triangle, so we need to figure some things out. Now let's take a look at the angles we need to calculate, or the sides we need to calculate. AB is this one, and that's actually one that we can calculate. Because we use this angle, and we use triangle ABC, then we know the opposite side. The opposite side is 5, and we want to calculate the adjacent side. So that's when we use the tangent, right? The tangent of 28. And then the opposite side is 5, and the adjacent side we don't know. So if you want to calculate what AB is then AB is 5 divided by the tangent of 28. And that means that, let me check what AB is. That means that AB is 9.4. Yeah, 40 if you want to round it off to 2 decimal places. So then if we know that this is 9.4, right, then we can use that to calculate some other things. Also, we can figure out what this angle is, because the three angles of a triangle together are always 90 degrees. So if you do, if you want to calculate angle C, we do 180. Sorry, the three angles together are always 180 degrees. I think I just said 90. That's wrong. If you do 180 minus 90 minus 28, then you have 62. Now you have 62 degrees. So this is 62 degrees. And then we can use that to calculate AD and CD. If you want to calculate AD, so we can take a look at this small triangle there. If you want to calculate AD, then this is the hypotenuse and this is the opposite side. So I'm going to write down the sine, because that's what you use when you have the opposite side and the hypotenuse. The sine of 62 equals AD divided by 5. So if you want to calculate what AD is then you have to do 5 times the sine of 62. And if you calculate that, then we get that AD is 4.41. So that's the answer. Sorry, it was a bit out of the screen. That's the answer for AD. And then if you want to calculate what CD is, that's that one, then we have to use the cosine, because CD is the adjacent side and AC is the hypotenuse. So now I'm going to write down the cosine of 62 is CD divided by 5. So to calculate CD, you have to do 5 times the cosine of 62. So it's a very similar calculation, just uses a different button on your calculator. And there you get 2.35. And that's the answer for exercise 34. And I'm going to make another video about 35 because that's also kind of a difficult exercise. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.